I'm Tim Ross, the very fortunate and blessed superintendent of schools in Santa Rosa County, and the Marine Science Center was all my idea, right? That is as far from the truth as possible. But I'll tell you what I do know. I do know that good people do great things, and Charlene Morrow is an example of a great teacher, first of all right, doing great things and influence the community. So heads up and kudos for Charlene, all right? Charlene really does represent the finest of Santa Rosa County, and she causes all of us to sharpen our pencils. I love that phrase that says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And she requires me to do that from time to time. She continually challenges me to have a vision and focus about the Marine Science Center, and that's only a growing proposition and opportunity for Santa Rosa County. And I don't just mean the school system. I also mean the Navarre community, the chamber, the commissioners, all of those individuals working together. And this is a wonderful example of that taking place in a very positive environment. She leads by inspiration. There is no doubt that Charlene's passion for marine science and her profession have married. And you can see that as evidence today in this building. This didn't just happen. This happened because she said, I got an idea that we can put together a marine science station here in Navarre, and she made it happen. She made it happen. She inspired the rest of us to do what we could do to make that happen and to assist her in that mission. And it is a mission because it is her passion, it is her love. How she influences is just pretty positive. She challenges me each and every day to be a better educator because of how she inspires here. I could really tell you that there is no better example of emulation that I'd like to have than a Charlene Morrow in Santa Rosa County. So kudos to her. We're blessed to have her here at the Marine Science Station. And on behalf of all of our teachers and the employees, some 3,000 of them, who each day come to school committed to make a difference in the life of kids, this is a shining example of what a lighthouse should be to make that difference. So welcome to the Marine Science Station. This is the beginning, not the end, obviously. And I'm proud to tell you that, with lots of things taking place in the future and lots of things that we hope to make a difference. We welcome our guests, Tim and his wife. Welcome to Navarre. Welcome to Santa Rosa County. This is, to me, heaven on earth, right? And we hope that you agree.
We do.
Atlanta, Georgia, Navarre Beach.
The traffic was pretty bad this morning.
Was it?
The traffic? Yeah.
Oh,
It took me
it's
about
horrible.
2 minutes to get here.
Well, that's because Moanas have their muffins on sale, right? If you haven't had one, do not leave. You only need one. Right? Sucker's that big, right? All right. Take a dozen with you and eat for their lifetime, all right? But welcome to Santa Rosa County, and on behalf of some very talented educators and professionals here, and I will share with you as well, this is a microcosm of how our community supports our school system, and we are a stronger, better school system because of it. So kudos to those who are invested in it and the difference they make, and we welcome you as well. I'll turn it back over to Charlene and let her work us through the next part of the program, unless you want me to introduce them. Jim Melvin, all right, ladies and gentlemen, right here, right here, I'll tell you what, he puts into place his love for Santa Rosa County and as well his passion for this place as well. Welcome, sir. I appreciate you being here. All right.
Absolutely, I appreciate the opportunity. Excuse the gimpy leg. That's just the way it is. I'm waiting my turn to go see the orthopedic surgeon. I want to welcome you to Santa Rosa County first and foremost, and to what we're very proud of here. This community defines volunteerism. This absolutely defines it, and this is one of our finest examples of that. Charlene has put this thing together from scratch. Santa Rosa County, for those of you that don't know, there's 67 counties in the sovereign state of Florida. We rank about 65th, is that right, in funding?
We do today.
Yeah, 65th in funding, and our students consistently rank in the top 3 or 4. So, and it's just because we give a rip, we care. And it's people like Charlene that make the difference. And this is particularly near and dear to my heart because I need about 4 lifetimes to do everything I wanted to do. I'm a retired Air Force pilot, I'm a retired CPA, and if I had, I'd go back and do the zoological thing because it was always an easy A for me. Really enjoyed it. But this program is fantastic. This is capturing the hearts and imagination of our young people. And it ties into the industry of Santa Rosa County, because what we do is we cater to the environmental tourist, the environmental historical tourist. Now, if you want nightlife and clubs and bars and all that kind of stuff, that's great. That's over that way. It's cold. And there's some more over here, and it's called Destin. But if you want to see what Florida used to look like, still looks like, because of the good stewardship of the people of Santa Rosa County, then you need to come here. Because we have nesting shorebirds that other people only read about in books. We have, is it 4 of the 5 or 5 of the 5 turtle species?
4.
4 of the 5 on planet Earth come in this right here. We've got a beach patrol, 100% volunteer, that marks the nest, gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning when the call goes out, and they make sure that everybody makes it to the Gulf of Mexico. And that's the extent of their intervention, is they all get a shot at the Gulf. We don't have much light pollution, but we've got some. So that's what they do. And these young children are advanced placement pretty much across the board. These are the cream of our academic crowd. And they do this because they want to. It's absolutely voluntary. And I couldn't be prouder of this effort. Started from just about nothing. And I fund it with some discretionary funds that each commissioner has. Tim funds it, and they actually fund themselves.
That's right.
They actually put about as much money as Tim puts in and I put in from themselves. And it's just phenomenal. So welcome. I hope you get some pictures, and what we always tell everybody is come enjoy yourself, and you leave, just leave us your footprints.
That's right.
Jim, I don't mean to.
Go right ahead.
The Haas Center did a study here about 3 weeks ago. Can you
We're
relate to
glad
that?
go. I'd be glad to
additional-
go through that, absolutely.
That, and I don't know if it's a lengthy study, but what it did here is pretty powerful.
It's pretty powerful. The Haas Center is an economic think tank, University of West Florida. And they've done some studies for us. I'm the commissioner that is with the Tourist Development Council, and we've asked them to take a look at us. Our bed tax collection is up 75% over the last 4 years. Our tourism in Santa Rosa County has, in the last 4 years, just really blossomed. We have the net impact of tourism in Santa Rosa County is about $200 million a year. Haas Center tells us that each visitor we have, in addition to room above and beyond the hotel room or the condo, they spend $110 a day a piece. So a family of 4 spending $440 a day. And they're here because of what we have. They're not over in Pensacola on the beach, which is a really nice venue. It's just a totally different product. And Destin is gorgeous, but it's a totally different product. It's totally, completely different product. And we're growing exponentially, and we're going to get a hotel back. And when we do, that's really going to boost it. But
Just as a side issue,
I get what you want.
$1.2 million of that was attributed to the Navarre community and
yeah.
and as well as this
56% of the bed tax collections come from Navarre now. The bed tax collections you have to be careful with. That's 5 cents on the dollar now. But you take those bed tax collections and plus that up to the fact that everybody spends $110 a day a piece.
Right.
And then for those of you that are business majors, you may remember the accelerator effect. It's still about $7. For every dollar you spend, that'll generate $7 more. Somebody will go pay a bill, somebody will go buy something on credit. You know, and it accelerates as a multiplier. But anyway, welcome. Thank you. You've listened to me for far too long. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Now I've provided I'm doing a speech just because I have all these special people in the room, and I didn't want to miss anything. So before I do that, I just want to say thanks. There are some huge supporters in this room, and I just wanted to say thank you, those of you that have been part of this since the very beginning. And just that you know, my former principal is now the superintendent. The other former principal is the assistant superintendent, and Mr. Nowak is here, and you know, it means a lot. It really does. And so if I could have all my students in here right now when I'm about to do this, I would, but it'd be really crowded. And they're getting ready for the school bus to get here from West Navarre Intermediate to start our rotation. So if you have the time, I really hope that you stick around and see my students in action. So, all right, thank you. I'm quite humbled today by our supporters and prestigious visitors from the United States Environmental Protection Agency.
We're still looking for them.
In 2008, when we started the Navarre Beach Marine Science Station, I knew it would be successful because of what my students wanted, but I would never imagine it would be so successful that I win awards like the Gulf Guardian and the Environmental Protection Agency Presidential Innovation Award. And I have to say that last night when I was getting this together, I was doing some, I couldn't sleep first of all, and I was scanning the internet. And Gina McCarthy has a blog for the White House. She's the EPA administrator. And how cool that on her EPA or White House blog, she wrote about the Navarre Science Station and the efforts of my students over the time. And wow, I was really proud. Okay, so I'm happy that we're successful and that our community members rally around it, and that we also were able to form a nonprofit to expand programs and open the door to more people to enjoy what we offer here. So I do have some board members here that I really appreciate you guys and believing in what we want to do from here on out. So thank you. All those things have happened, and there's more great things on the horizon. The board, the Santa Rosa County Board of Commissioners have given us or earmarked the land to physically expand the station. Our vision is to create a Gulf Coast Discovery Center adjacent to our building right now. And it's a 9,000 square foot interpretive center that will simply be an incredible asset to our community and give us much more needed space. You can ask my students, and it's just easy when you guys come here to see that we are maxed out on space, but that'll be a great addition. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this program, which most of you guys are familiar, I use a unique each one teach one model. My 11th, actually 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students learn 3 days a week. I teach them, and then 2 days a week they teach younger students that come. And the area students that come, not only from Santa Rosa, we also have people coming from Escambia and Okaloosa. They select what curriculum they want to learn at, aligned to what they're learning in their classroom. So this each one teach model not only helps reinforce learning, it gives students field experiences, but also gives them a very valuable skill for future employment. These skills include organization, persistence, problem solving, and presentation skills. Students in the program return after they are in college or a career and help with summer programs. And we have very successful students, and we are very proud of the amazing things that we do. But on a side note, I've had a couple students in here. Katie and Taylor, they're going to be leading some of the activities. This is our 6th year, our program, and I tracked my students. They're either in college or graduating college, and 71% of them are in STEM-related college paths or careers or in education. So it's a good thing. So it's not that I encourage them necessarily to go into science or education. I just like them to pick something they're really passionate about and make a difference. And what I love to see more than anything are students that are terribly shy, like Heather. You guys all know Heather, she's my assistant. Terribly shy, used to stand up here and shake and was petrified to teach kids. And now look at her, I've seen her teach 100 to 200 people at a time. So what I like to see is that kids not only learn about our environment, but also the skills that they can take into any career. And I have hopes that these kids come back and to our area, become the next commissioners, and with all this restore funding coming in, creating jobs, that they are part of that. So, I hope you guys come back. I try to make our students relevant to current issues evolving in our community. Since the BP Deepwater Horizon oil spill, our students have been very interested in water quality. So we've started a water quality testing and monitoring to help them better understand the importance of water quality and the effects humans have on the environment. We hope, with funding, to continue the valuable program. I'd like to thank our superintendent, Tim Rosdick, and Navarre High School Principal Brian Nowak for giving me the latitude to implement a unique program. I know it is very outside of the box, and you guys have been so willing to help this out. And Wes, I appreciate all you do for us too. Thank you, because it's very special, and thanks for allowing me to do that. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this unique program and this facility that allows me to give students the opportunity and share that love of the ocean. So, got it. So next I'd like to introduce Jim Jatino. He is with the Water Protection Division with the Environmental Protection Agency. He is responsible for planning, coordinating, and implementing all regional EPA water programs related to the Clean Water Act, Safe Drinking Water Act, Marine Protection Research and Sanctuaries Act, and other federal laws. He started his career in 1979 at the U.S. Environmental Research Laboratory in Oregon. In 1984, he accepted a position with the U.S. EPA's Region 5 Water Division in Chicago, Illinois, where he managed a variety of regulatory and non-regulatory programs. In 1991, he became the Deputy Director of the EPA's Great Lakes National Program Office. In 1996, he took the role of Director of the EPA's Gulf of Mexico Program Office. Both of these offices foster an approach to environmental protection that emphasizes collaboration and consensus, sound scientific information, and strategic partnerships to achieve results. These attributes are the cornerstones of the U.S. EPA's move towards watershed-based environmental protection. And thank you, Larry Lincoln, for flying from Atlanta, too. We appreciate you. Larry was here about an hour and a half early, so he got to see what we go through, but we get all this ready. So thank you, too. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Well, somehow Charlene got the long bio. I'm not sure how you got that, but I'll do my best to catch up here. Thank you very much, and thank you, Charlene, for all the work. I'm going to brag on you just a little bit more, but thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm very pleased, and it's unusual for me to be able to introduce my favorite marine science teacher in the world. Charlene may be my second favorite.
Good call, dude.
Is my wife, Christine, who's here, and she's been a high school educator, worked at the Georgia Aquarium for 7 years in their education program, and is dipping her toe and getting back into high school education. So it's great.
I've already tried to recruit her.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't work in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we just had our first twin granddaughters in Atlanta, so I think prying her away from that's going to be a challenge. You know, this is a very special place for me. When Larry said, Jim, you know, we need somebody to go to Navarre Beach to do this, I said, Larry, you know, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. My family roots actually go way back to Pensacola Beach. My dad, in the 30s, had a big band, and his big band played every summer at the casino, which some of you may or may not remember, and I don't remember, but the casino, every summer, he had a dance band, and so he would come down and spend summers, and then when he married my mother and depression hit, being a band leader wasn't exactly the most lucrative proposition, so he went and got a job, but interestingly enough, 35 years later, after he retired, he got the band back together, and some of the original members that were in that band came together, and they were, you know, they had these groupies that followed them all over Alabama, throughout Birmingham. People that liked to dance would go wherever they were playing, and the band sang. So I remember so much as a child, you know, falling asleep in the back seat, making the drive from Birmingham down. But when you went over that bridge to Santa Rosa Island and you could hear the thump, 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 I would wake up and man, it was just, the excitement was, I still remember it to this day, the excitement of a child, knowing that we're going to the beach, knowing that we're going to be playing in the water and the sand and just everything. It was like looking out across Santa Rosa Island at that time, and all the houses, were different colors, pink, green, yellow, and it was just like, I was looking at a watercolor. It was so
Concrete block construction.
a child to see that. So my roots go way back. Let me brag on Charlene a little bit more, and I don't want to miss any of the key points here. She is the 2014 recipient of the Presidential Innovation Award for Environmental Educators, which is a remarkable thing because there were only 16 people across the entire country that received that recognition. So that is just remarkable. She has done so much. She's an environmental educator with more than 15 years. She's been instrumental in developing this now nationally recognized marine science program and the Navarre Beach Science Station here. She's inspired many of her students, as she noted today, to pursue college degrees in the STEM programs. And approximately, what I have, Charlene, is 85% of them have received Bright Future scholarships when they graduate. So that's remarkable. Since this station is open, more than 5,000 students and community members with programs and curricula designed for audiences ranging from 3 to adult have come through this station. And it offers a variety of field activities and programs, all of which focus on conservation and respecting the marine ecosystem, which is amazing. So through Charlene's work, students and visitors alike obtain appreciation for the importance of the marine ecosystem, something that's vitally important today. And most important, they learn how to make a difference in the ecosystem. So please give her another round of applause. So let me turn for just a couple of minutes to the topic of the day, in the importance of water. And I'd like you to just reflect for a minute, how important is water to you? When you get up in the morning, the first thing I do is take a shower. I mean, think about the over 400 to 500,000 folks in Toledo, Ohio, that because of an algae outbreak and a toxic algae bloom in Lake Erie, their water system had to be shut down for X number of days. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 days. So literally, they were buying bottled water, fire stations were giving out free water. What an impact does that have on your life when suddenly you can't walk over to that tap and turn on and get a fresh, clean of wild water? It's remarkable. It's particularly important for us here in the Southeast, but for so many years, we have been so water rich in the Southeast that we really do take it for granted. And those days are coming to an end. We're seeing, from where I sit, we're seeing more interstate conflicts over water. We're seeing groundwater depletion. We're seeing surface water being brought down way below critical low flow levels, so that you're not getting the freshwater input into your ecosystem that you need to sustain the life here. So there are water challenges for us in the Southeast and obviously across the country. The real point of me being here, other than recognizing Charlene, is to talk for just a minute about a rulemaking that is underway in the U.S. And there is really a national dialogue that is going on right now over the scope and extent of Clean Water Act protections. So it's an important dialogue, and it's one that I hope you all engage in, because our comment period is still open. We have come out with a proposed rule that basically says what we believe as an agency and what the Corps of Engineers believes as an agency is the scope of jurisdiction under the Clean Water Act. What waters are afforded protections under the Clean Water Act? Now, that may be a little bit startling in the sense that the Clean Water Act was passed in 1972. So here we are 42 years later, still trying to figure out, well, what does the Clean Water Act cover? So there's a national debate that is underway. And the underpinning of that national debate from our perspective is, again, back to my original question, how important is water to you? When Congress passed the act back in 1972, they didn't want to just protect the Gulf of Mexico. They didn't want to just protect the Great Lakes. They didn't want to just protect the major navigable waters. They recognized at that time that those iconic places really depend on the streams, the wetlands, the rivers that feed those places. And if you're going to have a healthy Gulf or you're going to have a healthy Pensacola Bay, you've got to pay a lot of attention to the water that is flowing into those systems and in terms of the quantity and quality of that water. If you're not paying attention to those things, then you're not going to protect the bay. And how important is that water to you? How important is this shoreline to you? You've already noted the importance of that from an economic standpoint, tourism, from your businesses, your local businesses, and all of that is dependent on healthy water. I know when I come down to the beach, and we were down here just in July, you know, it was troubling to me to see the level of algae growing along the coast. That says we've got more work to do. And certainly there are natural causes of that, but certainly we know that our activities are exacerbating some of those conditions, and there's more that we can and should and need to do in order to protect those waters. So the debate that's underway with this national rulemaking is, well, how far upstream does the jurisdiction of the Clean Water Act really cover? And you can imagine that if you've got to cover the tributaries and all of those waters draining, the question is, well, where do you draw the line? Where is federal protection afforded by the Clean Water Act no longer necessary? Now, science can address that problem, and in fact, we have done a major study where we reviewed over 1,000 scientific peer-reviewed studies that talk about the importance of this connectivity between waters, tributaries, and adjacent wetlands to downstream waters. And science can address that question, and scientists will often tell you, hey, you know, it's called the hydrologic cycle for a reason. It goes in a circle, and there's no beginning or end to it necessarily, you know, so you need to protect all of it. And there's scientific debate around that, I will grant you that. But generally speaking, scientists will take a more expansive view of the waters that need to be protected. There are also legal issues around those protections, and the Supreme Court has weighed in now 3 times since 2001, since 1985 actually, to try to address and define the scope of jurisdiction under this Clean Water Act. The problem is those Supreme Court decisions have not necessarily led to greater clarity in terms of, well, what exactly is protected and what is not protected. And the Supreme Court itself said to EPA and to the court, you guys ought to be developing regulations around this issue so that we don't have to, as the courts, go in and interpret this every time and there's lawsuits across the country that are dealing with this issue. So the agency said, okay, it is time. So we've put pen to paper. We've put out a proposal, and that is causing quite a bit of stir in terms of this public dialogue and debate. In that proposal, we have asked for, there's 19 specific areas where the agencies have said basically, this is what we think it should do, but we're really interested in public comment. We don't know exactly. We would like some public feedback to inform our deliberations around these 19 topics, but the public can comment on any aspect of this rulemaking that you desire to. It's really critically important because as this debate goes forward, it's going to determine to what extent does the Clean Water Act and the protections afforded that go upstream and protect those waters that are coming to areas that most people think about when they think about the importance of water. So we really invite you to participate. There's been a lot of legitimate concerns that have been expressed as a part of this rulemaking from various interests that you might expect. There's been a ton of support. We're actually expecting the public comment period, I think Larry closes October 20th. We're expecting to get over 1 million comments that we're going to have to sit down and work through and respond to. And we take that role and responsibility very seriously. We take this public comment process extremely seriously. So we're anxious to get input into it. But it's going to be important because ultimately at the end of the day, when we bring out with the final rule, it will hopefully clarify where those protections exist and where they don't. And we think that that brings a certain level of certainty and clarity, not only to the public in general, but in particular to the regulated community. So they're no longer spending large sums of money to go out and say, I've got to bring in a consultant to tell me if the stream flowing through my property is a jurisdictional water or not. And that can be quite expensive. Under the rules that we're putting forward, you would be able to say, yeah, that is a water. So you know you need to see the permit if you want to do something or other. And we think that that's going to save money in the long run for folks that are regulated. And we think it's going to lead to hopefully a better set of protections for those critical waters. So with that, I invite you to please take the opportunity to comment. It's a lengthy rule. I'll tell you it's a challenge to get through. But that's all preamble language that explains. The rule itself is really only 2 or 3 pages long. So I invite you to comment. Again, it closes October 20th. We are, I think the website, Larry, if you just Google Waters of the U.S., you're going to get to the EPA website very quickly, and then it'll direct you to where the rule is so that you can review it. So again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for this wonderful, see the sun came out when EPA spoke.
That's where
And so I realized that I did not dress appropriately, but I'm gonna carry on. Thank you again, Charlene, for your work. I can't thank you enough. I mean, it's tremendous. And I'm pleased that when I was director of the Gulf program, I instituted the Gulf Guardian Award, so I'm really glad that you received it. Yes. Thank you all very much.
We are going to, if there's any questions, now's a good time, if any media questions, but what we want to do right now is split up. See, these guys are excited. They need to set up in this room. We're going to do ocean acidification and some plankton, and then there's a schedule. So if you look at this schedule, the kids are going to be teaching for 30 minutes, and then they're going to do 4 rotations. We've got 40 intermediate kids out there, and they are ready to go.
You didn't brag on your visitor education things, but she has a program. If you're going to be here for a week, you can enroll your kids in.
Oh, no kidding. That's cool.
Well, it adds to the fact that we cater to the environmental tourists. And the word gets out, and they can come and stay and spend a week and put the kids into something that just be, fascinating.
Yeah.
So that way the parents can just relax.
I mean, she's built in.
Charlene, will you tell them too about the underwater camera?
Yes.
And the reef, because I meant to mention the reef system and did not. So you need to tell them about
Okay. We have received some funding from the Tourist Development Council to do a underwater live feed reef camera. There are several artificial reefs on the Gulf side. How many are there total? Like 60?
Well, there's 86 acres that are permitted, and they look just like what's in that tank.
Yeah, in the tank over there.
And we have, I don't remember how big it is. Jim, do you remember how big it is? It's about 150, 200 yards by 700 or 800 yards right now. And it's snorkel depth.
Yeah.
And the others are going to be deeper.
Yes.
So what we have is a Watch the Reef webcam that's going to be installed. It will provide a live feed into our website, and so people from anywhere can come and see what's on the artificial reefs. And we've been out there. We've seen octopus, sea turtles, all sorts of fish. So we're also looking at doing some baseline studies on what's growing on the reefs, and it's pretty exciting. But tonight, if you guys are still around, from 5 to 7, we're doing a Lionfish 101 class where we have an expert coming in and talking about concerns about lionfish, and she's going to be showing you how you would actually prepare it. And so that's something that we're going to be doing some more and more studies with, because especially with this artificial reefs out here. So
They're supposed to be pretty tasty. I'm not.
Yeah, like a
myself,
grouper.
They say that it's a lot like a grouper.
yeah, so if you're welcome, anyone's, that's open to the public tonight from 5 to 7. And yeah, we do. We offer a lot of different programs. Summer camps. We have Guy Harvey fishing camps. Pete Delarada is your instructor for that, and he does also, like next week, and we're doing Take a Kid Fishing. And we've also started ROV camps, remotely operated vehicles. So we're tying in that STEM aspect too. And we have the pool that you see set up downstairs is actually for our ROVs. It's been really popular. But yeah.
And the conservation efforts and the protection efforts you do on the pier?
Oh yeah, we do the monofilament recycling, and yeah, we are going to be looking at some marine debris
So what
removal.
you're telling me is that you're actually sleep deprived. Is that
Yeah. My husband, I know I should have included you, Casey is he's a middle school science teacher, and you can look him up on YouTube, Mr. Fearon. He teaches lessons by singing. And he's a better teacher than I am, and he's kind of quiet in the background, and he's my rock. You guys know how that is, and he's the best. So yeah, we're going to rotate around. If you guys are welcome to go out here, just take the time, please, to see these kids in action. You know, yeah, I appreciate it.
Water travels in a cycle, yes it does. Water travels in a cycle, yes it does. It goes up in evaporation, it comes down to condensation, it comes down to precipitation, yes it does.